Oh my goodness. We've made a lot of progress. We're going to pick up our power plant. Probably get to, probably get to a lot of the harbor. And I think we get to a lot of the railyard in this one too. But welcome back to Hill Vale episode number 2. You guys are amazing. Thanks for being here. Thanks for all of the love and support that you give me here on YouTube and over on Twitch. We're currently working on the access and building of the offices for the power plant. And soon we're going to have, I believe, a rail line that comes around the office buildings and lines up to those tanks. So what I've been doing is I've been looking at how things kind of work, at least what I could surmise from the internet, because the internet is all knowing, right? Of course it is. We're all here on the internet. Right here I'm about to draw a rail line, and I know that this probably isn't feasible. We probably don't want... Oh, and I think I had a crash there, which is why I had to restart the video. Which is a problem. Back to the earlier episode, I have trouble saving the game. It crashes upon save, and this is where I squirrel, and I'm like, what am I missing? And I'm actually looking at what I'm missing, and what might not have been there, and what might have been there. But anyway, if any of you guys work at a place that takes the rail, takes the oil, or takes the gas, whatever the substance is from one of those tanker cars, the only thing I can kind of surmise that how it works is it's either pumped out or it's done with gravity. Now, I don't necessarily, I guess, have a way to illustrate it being done by gravity here. I would imagine you would hook up some sort of, plumbing apparatus to the bottom of it, and gravity would allow it to empty out. I feel that at least having the pipes on top kind of make it look like there's a use for it. I wonder, I don't know what it's called, so I didn't quite find it on the workshop, but I wonder if there's a way that I can maybe make the gravity version of it, which might look cooler. So this harbor and rail yard and power plant are all kind of interconnected for ease of use, right? So, I mean, it would make sense to me that in real life these were actually connected. And I don't recall seeing a rail yard near a power plant near Long Beach. But for me, instead of just having a separate, like, we might even have another natural gas plant somewhere else in the city, because these plants would be something you would have possibly multiples of. So this is where, when I say stuff like this is loosely based on the Los Angeles area, this part is definitely not. So, if you're looking for a recreation of LA, this is not for you. Maybe someday I'll actually do a recreation. I don't want to deal with scale. I don't want to deal with scale in the city. So this is my access road to the freight depot, which is on my asset list down below. I forget the guy's name. little person's name. And it's a really cool asset, and it matches other public works buildings. There's a police station, a couple fire stations, the data mining facility, the event hall that I'll soon be placing in this build are all in the same style, which is why I kind of went with it. But they're very nice assets on the workshop, and they do a heck of a job with theming as far as like updated and modern buildings and structures, because at this point in time in this city's history, even though we're not building it historically and then like revamping it in the series, we're showing it as kind of current day. And that's something that I toy with a lot. Like, how do I convey its old rich history without building the city 5 times? So later we're gonna see some older parts kind of pop up, even though they didn't get built first. They are in fact the older parts of the city, and they will hopefully blend in with the rest of it. Now, this rail yard gets a little complex, and I don't think I keep these lines. So these lines were meant to kind of hold extra tanker cars, but I don't recall if I kept them. I think I ditched them in lieu of a parking lot, in lieu in favor of a parking lot. I don't know, but we needed vehicle space for our electric company's maintenance trucks and service vehicles, and I reasoned out to myself that these cars would not be kept laying around. They would be quickly taken away to be reused again, as opposed to just sitting there. Because if they just sat there, it's more of a risk for this power plant than their insurance probably wants to cover. Does that make sense? I mean, these are weird things that I think about when I'm building. And now I'm looking at, why do I need this? What? Oh, there they go. Bye. See you guys. Let's redo this whole connection for the 3rd time. Perfect. Look. And magic. I guess I'm having trouble lining it, making it 180. But that looks like it's okay. So here's my pipeline on top of the rail. And then I bend it, so there's those 90-degree corners allow for us to have space for the train cars to actually go through. Now, they don't actually go through. I don't have a working track. I mean, I guess it could be working if I could tell the computer to back them up, but I'm like, well, we could stick shell there. Like, it kind of works. I think this is where I realized that I can move those pipes here in a slightly closer to one side, and then get it. I'm like, there we go. So now I have the one line in there, and yeah, there's me moving them. Prop line tool. Such a handy piece. Would we ever have done without it? Painstakingly done that by hand? Yes. And then here I am, like, now that I've redone all of this, I need to redo this. So I'm kind of chasing this rail line out and away from the rail yard to line it up a little better. There we go. That's starting to shape up, but not quite. I don't think that's quite where it ends. I think I keep revisiting it and revisiting it and revisiting it. And then those roads there, I think I lost the footage of that, but those are about to get cleaned up. I'm like, wait a minute, that doesn't look right. Let's fix this. Oh, old me. Look at all of this. All of this mess. This is your fault. There's that trick again. Making a straight line between 2 points and then just bending it. Yank. And every once in a while I hit the shortcut for cinematic camera. Now that we fixed all that, I made that really sweeping curve onto the exit because I don't want the trucks have to really, I don't think they should have to slow down too much. They should be getting ready to get on the highway. And remember that part in front of the rail yard that looked all funky? Yeah, we're about to fix that. Yeah, see, look, that's so much better. Oh, and I think I lost that bit too. Ah, that's disheartening. I put these clips all in order. They're in order in which they were recorded. And if I ended up losing the save file, this is when they get thrown out of order. So either I don't have that clip, or I do, and I had to revisit it after I recorded this. But I used the parking lot roads to produce all these parking lots. Now this is the electric company's vehicle yard. Now, these lines, they're just kind of guidelines for, you know, if they wanted to take account for which vehicles, how many vehicles are actually present. They can just count the spaces. And then here I'm like, oh, well, we dispatched a couple vehicles out to go do stuff. But these parking lot roads are a phenomenal time saver. I'm like, how do I fit this in? I believe I end up making that a little waste area for our trash services. And basically trying to make sure that that first slot has space to actually park and not really hit the curb too much. Yep, here we go. And these containers, these are fantastic. I've been watching the progress of these containers on Twitter. They are phenomenal. I always want to say it's AJ, but I believe it's AR. Those are also in the asset list. And then this fence, the net structures are phenomenal. And I'm so excited that actually came with the game for Park Life. And now we're making even more items. So that just saved what, at least six or eight props with just that net structure fence, which in the grand scheme of things, that's 8 props. But if that's 8 props per fence like that, then, you know, our prop limit, you know, we bought 8 times, however many times I do that in the city, worth of our prop limit back. And I'm also using a mixture of surface painter and the old concrete brushes. Oh, there we go, trying to save again. And it takes forever sometimes to package, and the game is paused. And this all started after the patch, the public patch. The beta, I had no trouble. You know, the preview copy of Park Life, 0 trouble. But after it went live, I've had this trouble. And this is sped up 4 times. So this is 4 times faster than when it was done. With a few edits. Like, I took out some chunks and bits, but a lot of it, if there's something missing, it's really all about the fact that I had the game stop saving on me and I had to start over. So like how it jumped earlier. So we're detailing this parking lot, but we didn't see it get put in. And I know that I had a crash. So I probably was like, oh, well, I have that video. And then apparently I didn't. A lot of times if it crashed on me, we'd start over for continuity. But I don't think I can keep continuity with every time it's crashing. So we'll just have to, I apologize, we'll just have to live with it. Otherwise this is never gonna get done. Now, why didn't I just copy that other one? There we go. Whew. Good save. Hey, it was smart there. What I would love to see is another 2 buildings made for those parking lots where they're back to back like the middle row, but just the 4 and the 3 version. Don't worry about the 8 version. But the 4 and the 3 version would be fantastic. And then this line, this network line is fantastic. Imagine how many props that could have been. There. Oh, I'm actually going to give them parking lot lights? Nice. That's something. I'm being very generous. And to boot, this is the power company. So, you know, them having lights in the parking lot, or maybe the lack of lights in the parking lot, could be a statement. I mean, who knows? And there we go. That, I think I end up like bugging out here and be like, oh, I guess I just saved too. Nice. Oh, never mind. I lied. Aha. Curb network structures. Thank you, King Leno. And boop. There we go. Now, how much do you think it cost them to have this mode? I don't know. I'm thinking about that as I place these. Like, can they mow this? Can they get to this to mow this? Obviously, they can get to these. And then it's like, now I need to fence this in, right? I think I'm on the fence. Get it? I'm on the fence and fencing it in. There we go. Oh, and I opted for the oh yes, because this is the industrial fence. We could really use an industrial fence on the network. Supposedly these come in 2 variety because the front gate and the back gate are backwards. They're for left-hand drive and not right-hand drive. But supposedly there's another version. I guess I haven't found it in my city because I'm subscribed to it. And I believe the description says it comes with both right-hand and left-hand drive. And then how do I resolve the rail line? How do I keep people out? Do I really need to keep people out? I mean, if they're gonna get in here, like, do we put a gate on the rail line? Like, we only open it up when we have a train expected? I think yeah, see? Now we have a guard there too. See, magic. We pay for a lot of guards throughout the day. Although I don't necessarily expect random people to be walking around. Like, other than, unless you're like, yeah, here I'm like, I'm pretty sure I have another version of this and I can't find it. So I backed it up a bit. It's like, okay, at least they're not stopped on the street. Like, right? And then I'm like, can I cover this? Nope. So I'm either faced with the fact that I keep those arrows there, or I turn them off, turn all of them off, and have to place the ones that I want by hand, which will add more props. We'll see. Once we get into some more roadway work, we'll see what we gotta do. And I guess I changed my mind on barriers. I mean, how secure does this have to be? I guess it has to be fairly secure. I mean, without power, people die because hospitals and other, you know, we all need power every day. I don't know anybody that doesn't use some sort of power every day. Even people who move around daily by foot, right? they're still going to use power. A lot of the people that I've known who are homeless, they have a mobile phone. And they charge up every day. So they're still using power. So if we don't have power, I mean, they can't charge their phone. I can't make this video. You can't watch this video. Right? So, yeah, I guess this would be pretty important. Huh, food for thought. I think I might take these out. These are workshop items, and I got them because they're super tall, and they have all those cables. But the ones that, and then I didn't necessarily give up, but it starts to look kind of a mess. And it should look somewhat organized. But the game has the towers that I have near my house. Here I'm thinking, okay, how do I work in this plant? Oh, I know. Let's build it on the hillside. And take out even more of the hill. Jeez. Although, arguably, for traffic, it would help balance out traffic. So I don't have a lot of traffic looking to turn right. I'm going to have traffic going both directions at that intersection. I'm like, oh, geez. That align height tool, such a time saver. There we go. Incinerator and recycling center right next to each other. I don't know where we're going to put the actual landfill. That'll probably be out further away. But this would help handle solid waste, you know, refuge from this area and residents nearby. So this area is all pretty much transportation services and power. But we're gonna have a cargo, or not a cargo, but a cruise port. Our tourists will be able to take a cruise, and they'll enter the city on the smaller pier. So eventually there's going to be hotels, and the reason why I decided to have hotel structure near here is because of that. People would arrive maybe a day, maybe 2 days early, and spend the night or two adventuring the city. Here I notice an issue and I'm like, wait a minute. See, isn't that weird? Look, it extends that curve. Then eventually I guess I figured it out. I think we crashed. So these parking lot roads are superb. I don't know if I kept it 45 because I have traffic going both ways. I might have kept it 45, just expecting people, if they come in on the other way, to be brilliant and to know how to park. And then these speed bumps. As the Pandaren said in WoW, slow down. Did you see that train? Aha, train candy. So these buildings I envision being some office space to help, like, harbor personnel, right? They need some sort of office structure, meeting space, you know, if they have a rather large ship that's coming into port and they need a game plan, logistical planning. I don't know, some of the ships these days are huge, and they take a lot of planning on how to get things where they need to go when the ship shows up to port. There's a series on Netflix, and the title of it escapes me, and then I think there's a Discovery series, something like Megastructures, and they talk about all of the planning that goes in to having particular ships just pop up. Now, once they've had one ship of one type show up, then they basically have a plan for all of the ships of that type, unless the specific cargo is very different. And here comes one of my favorite things to see in City Skylines: containers. I don't know why. Now, I used to just use the harbor pack that is on the workshop, where it's all basically built, and I might actually have to swap out to that. These are buildings, but I mean, if push comes to shove with props, I haven't looked at the prop count in the city yet, but if push comes to shove, I could buy more prop space. I'm kind of eyeing it and seeing how this would work. Those cranes are huge, and they'll stretch those four rows. Now it's a matter of making sure that they don't clip each other, because those cranes have to be able to go back and forth the whole way. But I think what I ended up doing is, I think there ended up being 4 cranes on this pier. I don't know if that's completely realistic, but I think that's what happened. And now these crane pieces, they have like that thing, and you can add them to different heights. So you have like a short, a medium, and a long. And if I recall correctly, I set up different scenes, but I think we do that in another episode. I think this is just me figuring out where to put it, how to put it. Like, let's put it here, because I could elevate it. Yeah, see? Look. And then we move our thing on top. Done. Magic. I keep picking on that car, on that container. Like, let's just use that one. Cool. We are... Last time I got caught off guard. There we go. Look at that. I think... I don't know if I do it this episode or the next one. I think what I do is I end up putting those 4 little bays that I just kind of cut out. I make them... I think I just keep it like that. Yellow. Oh yeah. Go to the... There you go. See, look at that. And now we striped it. I have no idea what I'm looking for. But where I removed those stacks, I placed trucks where the cranes would pick up. Although, to be honest, I don't think that's how it works. I think the cranes, like the truck would go where the cranes are. So I might need to take out that whole line of stacks. Instead of the crane picking up and then moving, the truck goes to the crane. And that's me going, what to work on next? Yeah, see, I put down some trailers. Like how many can I reasonably fit? And I kind of summed it up as 2, so 4 per section, which would be kind of pitiful for the size of this. So I might revisit that and take out that line of cargo containers. And trucks show up to where that crane is. Trucks are easier to move than that crane. Which to me, I mean, makes sense. I think I was a little tired of having work get eaten by not saving at this point. Yeah, and then I make a scene where it's dropping it on top of a truck. Hopefully not dropping, but more or less lowering it carefully into position. There's that container again. Cool. Now all of this stuff is on the workshop, and all of this stuff is linked down below. Should have 3 links: the mod list that I use, the asset list for this and combined with my San Alto that I'm doing currently on YouTube, and the map, as well as the stuff that is needed for the map. So I've made that a collection as well. So it's all something that with the map, definitely you can just hit the 1 button and subscribe, but I would totally tell you to not do that with the other collections that are linked below. Just be nitpicky and kind of pick through them, and don't hit subscribe all unless you want to experience some sort of trouble. And this isn't the way this ends up. Oh yeah, right, I remember. I'm about to have a crash where it's autosave. It's gonna autosave on me and it doesn't save. But until next time, my name is Azili. Thanks for watching and hanging out. You can catch me over on Twitch or right here on YouTube. Be good to each other.